Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of Casually Kicking It. We have a very special guest, a man that I knew since high school. His name is Mark Roberts, and he also is the originator of Chasing the Bees. And this is all about disc golf, an upcoming sport that's been really popular lately. So say hello, Mark.
Hello, thanks for having me here, guys. I appreciate you spending some time to learn about the lovely sport of disc golf.
So
Yes. Um,
go ahead.
oh, I just interrupted you. Everyone's freezing now.
It's
Live technology, don't you love it?
oh yeah.
And welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you, Ed. So
That's all I
yeah,
So
wanted to
let's
say.
let's get into the nitty gritty.
yeah,
Mark, I've known you for years.
yeah.
What made you get into disc golf?
Well, I got into disc golf, but my brother-in-law, he
Okay.
introduced me to the sport in about 2012. I myself had never heard of it. I consider myself very knowledgeable of sports and into that realm. Um, and was shocked when I came across the sport. Uh, I remember the first time he took me out. I still remember this day. I bought my first three discs. I get to the third hole. I'm probably about like 150, maybe 140 feet from the hole. And
Mhm.
I smashed the chains on my third shot. And from that
Whoa.
second, I was hooked. Sadly, that's still been the best shot to my life. Um, but that's what got me hooked was just the sound and being in nature and connecting. Just being in that environment was really what kind of hooked me. Um, so yeah, since that moment, I just kind of progressed to getting in more involved in the sport, um, mostly on social media, um,
Okay.
and kind of just was out there realizing like I wasn't seeing it a lot on social media, and I felt this was such a beautiful sport. I just wanted to capture it more, and I realized that I wasn't also very good at it. So I wanted to capture the people that were really good at it and start catching photos of them, and kind of being out in the sport, documenting tournaments. Um, and then randomly, I just again started doing poetry. Um, just in
Nice.
my basement one day, listening to music. I was just rewriting song lyrics in my head into disc golf content. Um, so it just became sort of a hobby for me that then led into many opportunities within the sport.
All right. Good to
That's
hear.
awesome.
Yep.
Oh, so what is it called again? Disc golf?
Disc golf. Some people think we're saying disco. It's definitely not a dance game. But what it is, it's essentially like ball golf. You're using stroke play. You have a tee, and you have a basket, which is right behind me over there. Um,
Yep.
and you're taking that disc, which Tom has there, uh, and you're throwing it as far as you can throw it, as close as you can to the basket. And then you're walking up to that disc, picking it up, standing behind it, and throwing it again. And again, it's as least amount of strokes you can have to get it into the basket. It can get stuck in the chains. It can settle on the bottom, and that counts. It can't rest on the top. Um, but that's how you play the game. And then there's 18 holes. Some courses are just 9 holes. Some courses have 2 tee pads and 9 baskets to kind of configure 18 holes. There's many ways to kind of make an 18-hole course, uh, and even a small area. So that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, you kind of again just go and hold a hole, and you have different discs. So as Tom had shown, you have a putter, a mid-range, which a lot of people kind of compare to golf as like irons for your clubs, and then you have a higher speed driver like Tom has there. It's like a fairway driver, and there's even faster, higher speeds disc. And to kind of show too is, or Tom, if you got that putter, the yellow putter, those are kind of wider rim discs. They're more rounded at the ends. I'm trying to think. So you see like a little more of the profile here. They're rounded. Um, so those are your more putters. And not to be confused, you can still throw these off the tee. A lot of people think of ball golf as you're just using it on the green when you're close to the basket, but you can still throw this off the tee. Obviously, depending how well you throw your putter and how far you can throw it. Uh, but yeah, there's a variety of different types to it. But each disc, as it goes up in distance and glide, um, they get a little thinner rimmed. So you'll see that little sharper, more pointy edge onto a disc, which I can show here too as well. So you got this more thin,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
thin rim opposed to that more round rim.
Thicker. Yeah.
It's thicker, obviously, to get a little more contact with the chains. And again, the air is obviously going to fly around this one a little more sharply as I get used to the idea of moving left and right with the camera there. But yeah, this nice little design.
Is
on
the
this.
thicker one more of like your traditional frisbee that you normally use?
So they're all different. Like if you're thinking of your beach frisbee, that's a much different plastic. It's a little more round and definitely bigger circumference on that disc.
Okay.
Definitely a
Okay.
little more lighter. And they're all made differently. So I could have a bunch of these, but some of them, if I throw it, will fly straight or be more stable and hold that line. Some discs are made to kind of be more overstable and kind of, as a right-handed thrower, it would kind of end up more left for me. It would kind of hook left a little quicker than it would normally. Or there's called understable disc, which will, if I throw it straight, it'll kind of fade a little more to the right. Or I should say turn a little to the right there, and then kind of still finish a little more straight or to the left. But you identify them. There's flight numbers on the disc.
Oh,
Also,
wow.
much information you can find about your disc online if that information isn't right on the disc. And oftentimes you can see how the flight pattern, you can find images online to see how that disc may fly.
Oh, wow.
So to give you kind of a general idea of where you're kind of, what you're hoping for to add to your bag, what your need is. I know initially when I started, I was just like, "Ooh, that's a pretty disc. I'll grab one of those." And then I just ended up with like 3 or 4 of the same discs. And obviously I learned after a while, like I need a disc that goes more to the right because everything's just hooking left and dumping out to the left. So you learn a little more about finding a disc that, as we call, understable, that allows you to kind of hold that more right line and then maybe go straighter again, fade out to the left at the end on a hole that's maybe more of a dog leg to the right, as we would say.
Wow. That's
A lot
that's
of
interesting.
information.
So Mark, I heard there's like a lot of terminology, and I heard that called I think Heiser and Anheuser.
Mhm.
What is the difference between both of those? And
So
those are types of throws, right?
correct, absolutely.
Okay.
So a hyzer, if I can maybe hold this correctly on the screen. Let's see if that. So might be hard to say the angle, but as a right-handed backhand player, I'm tilting that disc down to the left for me. So it's coming out of my arm and I'm going kind of straight across, but it's coming out of the angle again to the left a little. So that I can get the disc either to be more sharp to the left, or if I have a more understable disc, it will pop up in the air. So if it comes out of my hand, it'll slowly tilt up, glide for a while, and then come back to the opposite direction. So again, that's the hope with that, and getting further distance with a more high-speed disc that by doing that hyzer angle. And again, with that anhyzer, it's again could be a combination of the angle where you're giving a little more to the right. So for a
Mhm.
right and backhand, I'm coming down almost like down a little bit and letting that kind of air get under it and push it, get up, and then kind of fade at the end of
Okay.
it. So that kind of explains that. I think a lot of people naturally are just thinking, I'm going to go back and I'm going to throw the disc straight, reach back and throw it straight. But you'll
Yeah.
find each disc kind of, depending on how it's made, is going to end up in a different spot. So a large part of learning this sport is before really going to a course is getting out in the field and just kind of seeing how those discs fly, getting an understanding of their flight patterns. And a lot of people think too, when you're like, I know myself, when I started, I was like, oh, I need a driver. You don't really need a driver when you're starting this game. You really need to stick with your putters and your mid ranges. Those are the discs that are going to allow you to get used to your form and just naturally throwing and not being too worried, because these more high speed discs with the sharper rims, you really need to understand your throw first, because it'll just discourage you. Like myself, go throwing like 100 feet and the thing bangs off to the left. I'm like, oh, I'm in the trees. This is terrible, but I can throw my mid range disc. If I let that thing go, that thing can go 200 feet on a straight line
Oh
on
wow.
the rock, right? So sometimes it's not so much about that higher speed disc. It's really about identifying which discs work for you, even if they are putter or mid range.
So when you say the disc can't land on the rim, it has to be somewhere in the chain, right? In the
Yeah.
chain area.
Yes. I mean, I guess I can show you. So again, like if it was in the basket, even just resting like that disc kind of in there, that counts. Or if it's anywhere on the bottom. But as this disc is hanging here, that would not count, even though it's resting on the basket, hanging on the outside. That would be an unfortunate tragedy that rarely happens, but does happen. Again, if it landed up top, you'd have to walk up sadly and kind of hang your head and just grab it and put it in the basket for the next stroke.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Which can happen to some people, but again, on a small chance. But that's essentially what it is. It has to either be resting in the chains, resting at the bottom of that basket to count.
And you said you're using the same point system as golf as well?
Absolutely. So you
So
just
each
stroke.
hole has a par.
Let's say that again.
Each hole has a par.
Each hole is a par. A lot of courses mainly are par threes for the most part. And they vary. I mean, there's a local course behind the school where I take my son a lot of times. And it's a nice course for beginners and kids. So most of the holes are really short. They're like 100, 150, maybe one of them is like 200. And again, it just allows you to feel a little more comfortable and confident with getting that dialing in. Because a lot of people just think, myself included, I just want to go play on a big course. I want to bomb. I want to mash.
Yeah.
Just burning your disc and that approach shot and all these other elements to the game that are important.
Just a quick question. Also, this disc golf, is that like an all year round sport or okay?
Yeah. So disc golf can definitely be played all year round. I play it myself in the wintertime. A lot of people will put ribbons or I've seen other people kind of like spray like kind of like color paint or like, I'm not paint, but I don't even remember what it is, but they're spraying stuff on their disc so that when it hits the snow, it's leaving a trail of where it's or the ribbon sticking out, so they can still find it. But I think what I've always been in love with about this sport is um, when you got a disc, you write your name on it. So I mean, so every player carries a marker, a Sharpie,
Okay.
basically. So you take your name and your number. I was like, keep doing it the wrong way, and you put your information on your disc because a lot of times I get a phone call or a text message from somebody, and they say, "Hey, I found your disc," and I can find out where we can meet up or where they'll leave it, and I can go grab it. Sometimes there's people that aren't very nice, and they pocket those things and they write over your name and scratch it out, and you may never see it. But the disc golf community is pretty good. I mean, there's Facebook pages. I mean, I lost a disc a couple weeks ago that I just threw for the second time.
Oh, jeez.
I had my new logo on. I had the guy. Where is it? This one. But yeah, so I threw it. This gentleman. The next day, I posted on the Facebook page. I said, "Hey, I lost it." The guy messaged me a day later. Said he found my disc, got it back. I was very happy.
So Andrea has a question.
We had a question, and she was asking, "Is it like a frisbee?" She says, or heavier?
It's a little heavier. They're going to be. I wouldn't know the grams on an actual frisbee, sadly, but the discs are about 150 grams up to about 180 grams. They're definitely heavier than a beach frisbee.
Mm.
And women also do the sport, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We're definitely trying to grow the sport. We're definitely trying to grow the women's game immensely because it doesn't get enough attention. So we're doing our best as a community to try to drive more females out to the sport to get that awareness. But yeah, they play all year round. Again, that community of getting it back. It's been very fortunate for me because a lot of discs, again, like this one, I didn't even get it. Threw it twice, didn't put my name on it. So I'm very fortunate to get this bad boy back. So yeah, play all year round, man. That's the love of it too. Is it doesn't end for me, even if it snows. As long as it's not too deep and fresh, and I definitely can't find my disc, I'm out there.
For some, actually, I think I saw a couple that they do night golfing.
Oh yeah, dude, Glow Golf is where it's at.
Glow golf. That's what I'm talking about.
So dude, you can get. I mean, I've seen them. They put little like
Yeah, lights on
they're
it.
solar. I think they've been out there all day getting solar energized. So they're just a little circular thing. You put it right on top of the basket. It just glows.
Oh,
And
that's
then
awesome.
you have discs like this one, which is hard to tell, but it glows in the dark. I have 3 discs that glow in the dark. So I'll bring a flashlight. Every time I get up to to my disc, I just run the flashlight over it so that it
Nice.
glows. And then I huck that thing, go find it quickly before it stops glowing.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, that's great. That's what a lot of people do all around the country, especially as we get into spring now. Um, and I obviously in summer when it's too hot during the day to maybe be out on the course, possibly get out at night and still kind of have an activity. So yeah,
That was going to be another question of mine. Is this just a national sport or regional, or is this like a world? Like, I mean, how big is this sport right now?
so just a funny little story in general. When I came across in 2012, again thinking it was so new, I created like a tournament with my friends, and I thought I had invented like the or something. I was like, oh, we're gonna play 3 courses in one day, and it's gonna be 54 holes. It's gonna be crazy.
With
Uh,
no invitation at all.
yeah, no invitation. Well, I'm sorry. I kept it local. I wanted to win, Tom. Um,
Okay.
so which I didn't win. But after that, I found out that it was so much bigger than I realized. So the sport originated in 1970. Gosh, I'm gonna butcher myself. I think it was 75. Well, I should say this. The guy who created the sport is Steady Ed Hedrick. Um, he was the designer of the frisbee. He worked for Whammo, and in '66 he came up with the frisbee design. Um,
So
and then,
we have another question, Mark.
yeah, please.
She is from Andrea. She said, "Is it hard to learn?"
I would say that it's not hard to learn. I think it's a matter of just grabbing a putter and getting out there and working on your throw. And honestly, if you get to a course, there's going to be a good chance that there's somebody there that's going to take time to talk to you and educate you about the sport. That's the community I've come across with it. Uh, People that will even just donate a disc to you and give away discs just because they want to grow the sport so much. I've seen many of people hand discs off to kids
Oh,
just to
wow.
kind of get them excited about the sport. I think it's definitely challenging. I find it interesting that when I'm in the woods and smashing my disc into a tree, that it's not as frustrating as it would be if I was shanking my little white ball off to the right and left like I normally do every time I play ball golf. Um,
Okay.
so it's just something for me, at least myself, about in general being in nature. But to answer a question again, I think it is pretty simple. If you just get out there, practice in the field, and then get to a course once in a while and spend that time to kind of connect with people that'll share that information.
So in nature, since you said that,
Yeah,
have you had any experiences with any animals or some sort where your disc kind of hit something or a snake might have popped out or something like that?
I would say that no. I mean, the only thing that I've come across the most is ticks. I think a lot of people underestimate the ticks.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
so just being aware of that when you're stepping into the woods, obviously wearing protection and checking yourself afterwards, because many people have fallen victim to the tick bite. Um, but for me, I think the only thing I came across, I was very fortunate enough to have my dog on the leash at the time, was a very large porcupine that I
Oh,
saw roaming out in Flat Rock in Athol, Mass. Um, and I was very fortunate. It was the first time I ever seen a porcupine in the wild, and very
Oh, yeah.
fortunate the dog didn't get any closer. Otherwise, that was going to be a messy cleanup.
Yep.
Uh, but a lot of and that's the beauty of it is you're out in nature. You never know what you might see. I mean, definitely been times where I've come across deer in the middle of Worcester, in the city of Worcester, a deer in the random park, and I see pictures of people just out on courses, bald eagles, beautiful nature, beautiful
Wow.
courses out in places you wouldn't imagine. I mean, I go up to the White Mountains and camp, and there's a couple courses that you take the chairlift up, and then
Oh,
you throw
okay.
down. You throw down the mountain essentially. So you're playing 18 holes, essentially walking down the mountain. Um, it's just beautiful scenery, especially in the fall at that time, all the colors. So, uh,
I
I,
I noticed
no,
and
go ahead.
locally down here they have one called Throw Down the Mountain also, right?
Yeah, they
It's
just
a it just happened, right?
It did just happen. I actually was interviewing one of the female players before she started that event, who's a
Oh
pretty
wow.
she's local down there, Ellen Woodenboom. Um, yeah, so she came in second in that event
Oh
to
wow.
Oh,
Sarah.
nice.
Um,
She was just starting and she came in second.
no, I mean she's a pro. She's been around
Oh, okay.
for a while. I don't want to make her seem like a gold. Sorry, Ellen, if you're listening. Um, but yeah, no, she's very large in that community. She's very interested in growing the sport in that area, and even shared some names of individuals that I'm going to pass along for you to connect with, so you guys can continue to try to grow the sport yourself in that community.
Most definitely.
Sweet.
You
But
send
also
me a
to answer
set, I'm ready to go.
yeah, and to elaborate, Ed, you mentioned obviously again like how big is it? Um,
Yeah.
so we were talking about too is I kind of went off on talking about steady and a little bit of history, but the sport's so big. There's a PDGA, a Professional Disc Golf Association. I mean,
Oh,
Oh wow.
you can register yourself today and sign up and become and get a number and become a professional if you so choose to, even starting out as an amateur. But and then you can become again a part of that community. There's events all around you, right? Even now, I would say just about every weekend there's probably an event and a course in your community, or leagues that they run, or maybe tournaments as we call flex starts that allow you to just play whatever time you can,
okay.
so that you can still be involved in that tournament, obviously around your work schedule. Um, and then again, on top of just your own communities and the leagues, there are touring players. There are players that are traveling right now to Arkansas, getting ready for the next two big events that are going to be taking place in the state. Um,
Well,
and they started out their year. It was Arizona, um, and they're just traveling across. Obviously, starting where the warm weather is and working their way across as the weather
yeah.
warms up to the colder areas. But yeah, there's a tour. I mean, it comes out to my area September. Um, so yeah, it's much bigger than I realized, and a lot of other people realize than how big it is.
Hey, Alexandra. She said, "Hey guys," like a while ago, so I was just
Hey.
saying hi back.
Hello.
So, is it an expensive sport to get into?
That's what I love about it the most.
Yeah, because golf is like expensive. Let me tell you, golf is
Exactly.
pretty
Exactly.
pricey.
Golf is ridiculously expensive. So I think you could possibly purchase like 3 sets of disc for like a round of golf on a kind of small course. I mean, it's been a long time since I played ball golf and paid for a round of just even 9 holes. But in general, disc golf, you can get a set of discs for maybe like $20 for 3 discs. I know that
So, Javier,
typically
what's up, buddy? Sorry.
no, it's worries. $7 to $8 kind of for your basic plastic, upwards to maybe like $20 for a more high end, stronger plastic that's not gonna kind of take the nicks when it or be able to take the beating when it hits the tree and not be misshapen. Uh,
Yeah.
so, and then I think what the beauty of it is, um,
This sounds like my kind of sport, Tom.
Yeah, same here, dude. I got this set that Mark gave me, and I'm going, man. I'm going. There's one by our house, it's Moss Park.
there's
Let's
like
do it.
there's like 6 right in your area, but yeah, they're most of the time they're free, guys. That's the beauty of it.
What?
Most of the time these courses are free to play. And if you're paying to play this sport at a course, the most probably you're going to pay maybe is $5. Um, $20 is what you pay to play the best course in the world, which is in Massachusetts, which is
Ooh.
ranked and there's been an article 2 years, well, we were second place last year, but we finished first place this year as best course in the world. But it $20 to play for the day, so you can play several rounds and just be hanging out on the property.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
and that's the beauty of it. You can just go to your local park, and a lot of times you can do that there. You can't just do that with golf. There's no free golf course anywhere. You can't just
No.
go. You can't go have a picnic and then be like, I'm going to go play disc golf now. You can do that in a lot of places in your communities, and
We
that's
have a
what.
question here from Andrea. She said, "Do you have to know how to play golf to play disc golf, or can you throw the discs?"
No, you just need to pick up a disc and throw it. That's the beauty of it. You just pick it up and throw it. I throw this thing terribly, and then I walk, I find it, and then I go and throw it again, and hopefully I can get it close to the basket. But really, it's just as simple as that. I mean, for me, You make the holes your pars. Again, a lot of them are par threes, but it's not about the number. It's just like, how many throws did I get it there this time, and how many? Let me try to beat that the next time.
Yeah.
But it's exactly like it. Just getting out and taking that first toss and falling in love with the sound of the chains.
That's
Do
awesome.
you schedule tee times like ball golf or no?
It's getting that way on a small scale because of COVID. It's kind of pushed.
Okay.
I on that course, Maple Hill, which is the #1 course in the world here in Leicester, Mass. Right now, you do have to schedule tee times to be out there. There's a course next door to it, which is really kind of unique, that you can walk across the street essentially to another 36-hole course. And again, they have tee times there. And now that I plugged a 36-hole course, it should be said that Maple Hill has a beginner, an intermediate, and a pro, and there's 4 different levels of courses there for you to enjoy on that level. So 72 different kind of holes to play.
All right. Alexandra's like, her brother-in-law told her and she would love to try it. Okay, Alexandra, this is a challenge. Casually Kicking It versus Fika Talk.
Oh, podcast versus podcast. What's
go.
up?
I'm calling you out.
Let's go. I want to see this. I'm in.
Yep.
I hope Brian's still watching. I'm gonna challenge Brian too. We got to fly out to Texas.
Well, they have one in
YFB.
Waco. I heard they have one at Waco, Texas, right?
Dude, YFB Network Challenge, podcast challenge.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to Waco, man, Waco just had a big disc golf pro tour event there.
Yeah, they did.
So yeah, that's a great spot.
Oh, she's talking junk.
Here we go. Let's go.
Okay. So
we'll see about that. Oh, go ahead, Tom.
Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead, Ed.
Look, Mr. Wyman's in the house. What's up, Wyman?
What's up?
So I was just wondering, like, you said that you were mixing like vocals from a song to disc golf.
Yeah.
Can we hear a little something?
I mean, I could read you some. I mean, I could pull up something. I wasn't quite prepared to do some freestyling.
Oh, yeah, see? Got him on the spot here, Tom. What's wrong with you, man?
Hey, I gotta put my man on the spot, bro.
Let's do it here. Let me find one that might be worth it. Yeah, you call me out here.
That.
So, with COVID happening last March, bicycles were hard to get because people were starting to go outside riding bicycles. For podcasting, a lot of people started podcasting because everyone was stuck in the house. So microphones, headphones, things were hard to find at a certain time. Did disc golf see a ramp up in people playing once COVID happened because they were able to be outside?
Disc golf has boomed because of COVID. In general, from I've seen statistics about like 20,000 new PDGA members just in the past year.
Wow,
that's awesome.
Because of this, they found out about the sport. What's really been beneficial, I think, for this sport this year too during COVID is opportunities to get on television because we could play the sport still, because we could be out and be socially distanced. The tour still went on while other sports weren't active at the time. So they got an opportunity to get on ESPN. They got an opportunity to get on CBS. So it got more exposure. People were interested. And it also didn't hurt that Kevin Jones hit some ridiculous ace at Maple Hill that went around the world and kind of, again, brought a spotlight on the sport. I mean, we've had Paul Macbeth in the last couple of years shoot a 19 down at a tournament, the perfect round.
Wow.
And just some amazing stuff that's allowed the sport to get exposure, as that was also broadcast to be on the highlights of that.
So our challenge was answered. Fika Talk said that they're down.
Okay.
So we gotta pen it in on our schedule.
Let's do this. And we got to put it on YouTube. We can stream it live on YouTube too.
Okay, let's do it.
I'm desperately trying to find one of my poems for you that I love the most.
Mark said,
so I don't have to sound like I'm rapping.
Sure. Go ahead.
I love it, man. Does it fit nicely?
Oh, it fits beautiful. I like the fabric. It's very soft.
All right, here, I'll read this one for you.
All
I
right.
remixed Dreamweaver into Tree Weaver.
Okay.
So I just closed my eyes again, climbed aboard the Tree Weaver train. Driver, take away my worries of my play and leave my second thoughts behind. Ooh, Tree Weaver, I believe you can get me through. It's tight. Ooh, Tree Weaver, I believe you will get a follow flight. Yeah, this is why I didn't want to do this. But yes,
That's
that
okay,
movie
buddy.
That's
probably wasn't done.
fantastic, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
I
wish
mean
I had
that's.
an applause sound effect, but I don't. I don't know how to do that on StreamYard yet. StreamYard, hit me up on that, right?
I
By
mean,
the
I
way.
don't. Again, I'm sure we can drop some bombs here, but this one was. If you're familiar, obviously with Nirvana, I hope. Um, I rewrote all apologies. So where
Nice.
to throw my bee? All these fucking trees. What's the correct play? So much in my way. Basket just in sight. I don't have a line. Where to throw my bee? All these fucking trees. In the sun, I huck ace runs. In the sun, par three. Really? All right, I'll give you a little taste of that.
There
We've
you
got
go,
some
buddy.
applause there on our
That was
comments, by
awesome,
the
bro.
way.
Oh,
Awesome.
so yeah, I mean, and oh man, all right. Here's one of my favorites. The
Okay.
Devil Went Down to Georgia remix.
Oh,
Ooh.
okay.
All right.
So the devil went down to pyramids. He was looking for a disc to steal. He was in a bind, for he lost one on 9, and he was willing to make a deal. When he came across this young man,
Wow,
he
this is cool.
saw him hucking and putting it hot. And the devil jumped on a maple stump and said, "Boy, let me tell you what. I bet you didn't know it, but I'm a disc golf player too. And if you swear to play the game fair, I'll make a bet with you. Now you throw a pretty good frisbee, boy, but give the devil his due. I bet you a frisbee of gold against your soul, because I think I'm better than you." Well, the
Oh,
boy said,
nice.
"My name's Avery, and I really like to win. So I'll take your bet. You're gonna regret, because I'm the best there's ever been. Avery, you wipe off that disc and throw that driver far, because hell's broke loose at pyramids when the devil's on your card. And if you win, you get that shiny frisbee made of gold. But if you lose, the devil gets your soul."
Nice.
So
Good job,
obviously
bro.
staying true to some of the song while also trying to incorporate the
Yeah,
lyrics.
I can hear the banjo playing in the background for that one. That's awesome.
I'm glad you liked it. That was kind of the one I was looking for. That's one of my ones that I think a lot of people can connect with.
The
So have you? Oh, sorry. I was gonna say,
oh
have you met any like famous disc golfers, like Tiger Woods style golfers?
I've been very blessed.
Okay.
Um, in 2017, just a quick backstory was I had realized that on my social media account, I had a disc golfer, Dana Vici, who was very into my art of rewriting song lyrics and poetry about the sport. And I saw that he'd be coming to play at the Vibram Open, as it was called at the time in 2017 at Maple Hill. And I asked him, I said, could I be your caddy? Would you let me carry your bag for you?
Well,
So he said, yeah, absolutely. And I was fortunate enough through that opportunity to meet some players and then kind of continue what I was hoping to do, which was take photos. And after caddying for him for a couple rounds, I kind of just walked around the course and took pictures at times and kind of got a feel out of what the environment was about. And little did I know, on Sunday, I'm standing on the 18th green, taking pictures of players with other professional photographers that were there and the film crew, and people thinking that I was important. So
did you
uh,
act like you were important? Like, yeah,
I, I did.
yeah.
I did. I owned it. I acted. I mean, I started dressing like this more frequently, so people maybe thought I was important. But no, I mean, I just I just went there and I took pictures, and from that moment, I was fortunate enough to be close to many pros. I've been next to the Tiger Woods of our sport. Uh,
Nice.
Paul Macbeth is
oh, yeah, I saw one of his he was actually commentating with another commentator, and they were reviewing his whole. I mean, he had like a 28 below in I think his weight in Waco. I
He
think
might
he
have
was.
shot 28 down, possibly. I forget what he shot there, but yeah, man, this guy almost wins everything he touches.
Wow.
And I know there's another gentleman, that Ricky Wysocki, who these two guys are the top two males right now in our sport. A lot of people trying to knock on that door. But those two guys, when people look in their rearview mirror, they start sweating when they see those guys, because those guys can play the game really well. And yeah, I've been fortunate enough. I mean, my favorite Paul Macbeth was he a lot of times he'll come and use the dirt around the tee pad to kind of dry his hand off, so he can not have a slippery when he's about to throw. So I was in front of the tee pad, and he was coming towards me, and he had his hand out, and I kind of made a joke by them. I said, "Oh, I thought you were going to come to give me a high five." And he just kind of laughed, and looking back, I was like, "Why the hell are you even saying? The guy's in the middle of a tournament." I just was stuck being myself, and he at least laughed at that. I've been very fortunate with having the opportunity to be around the world's top players, and the fact that they all want to come to this course. This is the #1 course in the world in my backyard. I'm so blessed and fortunate.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna have to come up there, and we're going to throw some rounds, buddy.
Yes, you are. You're gonna have.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Has there been any celebrities that you can maybe shoot any names out there that are starting to pick up this game, like musicians or TV actors or movie stars? Or
Yeah, I mean, I know Bubba Watson's big into disc golf as a
really
ball golfer himself. Yes, Bubba loves disc golf. I think he even has a PDGA number, if that's correct, as well. So he's a member of the Professional Disc Golf Association as well. A lot of people are familiar with Casey DeSmith. I think, if I said that correctly, he's a hot goaltender for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He actually, I believe, even on his mask has a disc golf.
oh wow,
that's cool.
So he's big into the sport. And Teddy Bruschi, I know, has posted out here. He's been to a course in Franklin, in Massachusetts. So I know that there's many. I can't think of any other specific ones that come to mind right away. But those are some of the bigger names that have associated kind of with the sport.
Next question I had, and I totally forgot already. He said Teddy Bruschi, man. That's interesting.
What me and Ed are gonna do is we're gonna find.
Got a compliment on the bow tie, by the way.
Yes, you got a good comment. Yes, on the bow tie. But me and Ed are gonna fine tune after we beat Fika Talk, and then he always wanted to go up north because he's never been.
I've never been up north.
We're gonna try to take a trip and play some couple rounds with the man, the Chasin The Bees man.
I would absolutely love to give you a tour around the #1 course in the world.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, look at this stuff.
That's nice.
Oh, the next question I had, that's what it was. Do you guys do disc golf players have caddies, and do they carry bags as well, or they just carry their disc with them and that's the one that they use, or the three? How many are you allowed to use, by the way? Are you able to take? Whoa, this guy's got like a military sack here.
Hey,
so is that certified disc bag?
Dude,
wow.
Grip is the shit, man. I like my grip bag a lot. Shout out to my brother for a Christmas gift of the year. But yeah, man. So players, they have sponsors for just about everything. I should say that there's major manufacturers of discs: Discraft, Innova, Discmania, Dynamic Disc, MVP, and I know I'm missing a couple other ones, but anywho, those are some of the bigger ones. And they all, again, have discs, so they'll throw their company's discs. Some guys, maybe who aren't sponsored, are going to have a mixed bag, so they might throw a variety of different companies because they have that option. And as for bags, they also have bag sponsors. So some companies that sponsor players give them a bag so that other people will obviously buy those bags. I mean, I got my bag here. This one holds about 10 discs. 8 to 10 discs in here comfortably. And then I got a putter pouch up here and a pocket up here for.
Look at that!
Wow. So I got my putter action up here.
Nice.
Got a little pocket here, obviously. Put my keys and a little clip to clip that on. Then obviously got a little mini. Got to have a mini because this is how we used to mark our discs instead of like a little
Okay.
mark on the green. Anytime you walk up to your disc, you could flip your disc or move it up in front of it where it was, or you can take a mini, which you have to use in tournaments. But that I don't have to, but a lot of people carry and use it.
'Cause I never seen that though. Like on the tournaments that I've watched, they've usually used like they flipped the one that they threw, and then they went with a putter. And I was like, can you customize those? Like, is there something where we could get it casually kicking it on the frisbee?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Whoa.
Where's
I
my?
like the sound of that.
I mean, I just got my old
Casually
logo.
kicking it disc? What?
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
I got your guy. 508 dies. Probably about 8 other people that would do it too. But yeah, I got my old logo. My friend locally. I put my old
Nice.
logo
Yeah.
on the disc. On a disc I bought. They can. So even if like the disc came, which you would torture this beauty, but with a disc like this, you can get the acetone, wipe that label right off of it.
Yeah.
Put a label over it. Put a graphic. I had a gentleman put my boys on
Ah.
the disc with me. So yeah, a nice Firebird here with Statler and World.
Oh, we just got called out.
Yeah.
Great. Now we can beat you guys while using your own discs.
Oh,
Okay.
that's cold. Oh my god, my Roaming Thunder, man. I love that disc.
It's a
But
lot of
yeah,
smack
I
talk,
mean,
bro.
to answer again too, the caddy. Some players prefer not to have a caddy.
Okay.
Some players don't want that distraction. They're in their zone. That's their zone. That's their space. And some players obviously appreciate not having to carry the bag, not having that extra weight, so they're not worried, beating themselves up during the round. Because obviously, some courses you're going to be walking up and down hills,
Yeah.
and it saves your energy having somebody else have to carry that bag.
Now, is there a certain like equipment, like shoes wise to use, or regular sneakers is fine?
I
Like
think
off the tee?
absolutely. I mean, people play in sandals if they want to. But yeah, there's no it's not like when you're thinking of golf and you wear spikes.
Yeah.
I think that everybody has their own preference on shoes. Everybody's playing from Vans to getting like Adidas to chair. I butcher that word, but different types of kind of hiking type shoes to kind of get that grip.
Mhm.
So it kind of just varies on what your preference is, but you could have either or. Obviously, something that's going to prevent you from slipping.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know if you answered this because I was so intrigued by the bag there. Was there a number of discs that you can carry? Kind of like clubs that you can carry for golf. Is there a number of discs, or you can carry as many discs as you like?
To my understanding, you can carry as much as you want. Again,
Okay.
there's a limit on that. For tournament play, I mean, you could end up losing discs during the round and then have to go back for the next round and get some more replacement discs for the following day. It's not going to be, against the rules or anything like that. Obviously, you can't just bail from the round, mid-round, run back to the car and grab some discs. But you have the luxury. You get guys see some big bags out on tour. A lot of discs that you might even not see a guy touch during the round, but it's there in case they need it.
Gotcha.
So when I was seeing some tournaments, there is an out of bounds area.
Yeah, it could vary obviously at the venue and what they do. Some courses, to make it more difficult, may rope off areas to make it more out of bounds and kind of design and shape a hole. Because some courses obviously may not have as many trees and are just out in the field somewhere. So to make it more challenging, they're kind of creating that OB. Or naturally, you're going to find water in courses where that's obviously out of bounds. So just like again, ball golf, stroke play. So
That would stink, bro. If you see your like frisbee like floating in the middle of a dang lake, and you're like, "Damn,
yeah,
I need it."
Tell me about it. It's happened to me like 10 times. So I've definitely lost lots of plastic to ponds. But in some of these courses too, a lot of them, even if they're just like sometimes parks, there's always somebody that's like taking care, some like volunteer that's probably going to go back and break out or retrieve discs. Again, writing your name on it. Most of these communities have a place to drop discs or return discs and get it back to people as well. Sort of lost and found, obviously. So, yeah, no, I've lost many discs. There's a gentleman that comes out to the MVP Open at Maple Hill, and they pay him just to swim in the waters Disgusting little ponds. They're not disgusting, but to me they're disgusting. These little ponds on the property, and he's just in there all day, just pulling out discs, hundreds of discs, and then it's just cool. They end up taking all the discs back to the pro shop, spreading them out on the ground and color sorting them. So it's always an array of like all the different colors of the rainbow just spread out all over the ground. But they pay that guy, and so like the pros will be out in their practice runs because they're obviously out there. If there's a 3 or 4 day event, they're out there a couple days before practicing. Mm-hmm. And all those discs, if they throw them in the water, they'd like to get those back because there's a good chance to do those again. So oftentimes there's just people on those rounds just breaking discs at some of these venues as I watch. So yeah.
Now, is there a certain way to hold it? Because I've seen people throw it like kind of like a regular frisbee, mm-hmm. and then I've seen people do like this forearm, like the like a flip. I don't know.
So if you can throw it any way you want to, but the most common ways are going to be your backhand. And now grip wise, I am not a professional with a grip, but I can show you generically. I just grab that bad boy, and I grip it and I rip it, and that's my grip. But there's many different ways to hold the disc. The number of fingers have the other side, where to place your fingers. Tons of videos on YouTube. Tons of pros have taken the time to put countless amounts of their opinions on how to throw a backhand, and as you mentioned, Tom, how to throw a forehand. So a lot of times you see people kind of say like you're gonna have like this gun, you're gonna put your hand like this on the disc, and you do your flick, and that's how you're gonna flick it. You can use that. It's all that wrist motion mostly as you're going through. I think the biggest thing about disc golf and learning it is all about understanding the momentum and movement of it, is using your hips. A lot of people, you're thinking you're throwing a disc, so it's arm, but it's really about all that fluid motion of the reach back and following through and turning your body and following through and allowing that motion to naturally kind of push that disc out there and then to flight, and not just using your arm.
That's awesome.
It kind of looks like when they're on their tee, that kind of looks like a shot put, like shooting a shot put. Like you slide into your other leg and then you push off, because that's what I did with when I was in high school. You know that. Yeah. So I kind of see it that way. Is it possible you could work that way?
I mean, I'm trying to think because I didn't do shot put and the footwork on that, but I mean, a lot of players are kind of, as we call an X step, which I wish I could kind of demonstrate. But you're kind of taking it. You have your feet and then you kind of put one foot behind the other as you're walking towards your throw and then just releasing. But I think the key thing is not getting caught up in that initially, is really just standing at the edge of the tee and throwing, getting the mechanics down, not being so caught up in, I got to run up. I've seen players run up. Don't let me run up. Just getting the mechanics down, because once you get that disc to fly, then you can start messing with those other things, and then you'll see it just happen more naturally. But getting the basics down is going to help anybody be essential, and just standing and throwing. Don't get caught up in like, and I only went 100
You don't want to be like a Happy Gilmore.
Run up 360 throws. I mean, I've seen people run up and do 360 throws, and you're just like I want to try that, and then I'm like, I just threw it 5 feet into the woods, way out of not even anywhere near where I want to go.
Have you seen an ace in person? Have you seen an ace?
I have been very blessed to see a bunch of aces. And sadly, I have not seen one of my own yet. So someday that'll happen. But my first ace that I had ever seen, my brother-in-law and I were playing at Borderlands. It was raining, and we just took a break, and we're waiting for the rain to stop. And we were on the umbrella, so he just picked up his disc and didn't even hesitate and went up off the tee. And I always felt like that was the reason he aced it, because most of the time I get up on the tee myself, and I'm like, I'm going to ace this hole. I never aced it. He just went up. He was like, let's just go, man. The rain stopped. I got to go. And he flinged the dang thing, and it was like S-curved and went bam right in the chains. Lost our mind. And yeah, I've been right behind many pros. I mean, Ricky Wysocki hit an unbelievable ace at Maple Hill on hole 8. Flicked that thing way out into the air. To the left, and just watch that thing sail down and come down at a sharp angle and just smash the chains. It's right behind the guy. Thanks, Kale, for blocking my picture. Had that sucker on video and whatever, but I guess I had to delete that one. I didn't get anything. But yeah, I've been very fortunate. I mean, I've been fortunate on some local events because I'd like to go to my local scene and videotape. I still remember the first ace that I captured at Cogshaw. Cameron hit this nice ace on a short par three, just right through the tree, smashed it. I remember me yelling one time, and then just bam.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say I filmed probably, I think 3 aces. Been fortunate enough to catch 3 on film and been around for 7 to 10 maybe now. I mean that Kevin Jones ace, to talk about aces, if you guys hadn't watched it yet, go check it out. The Kevin Jones ace at Maple Hill. The guy is on the tee on 16, which had yet to ever be aced by him. And he steps up on a round. They're playing a skins match. So before the tournament, 4 guys going out just playing around for some money and to put it out on YouTube.
Nice.
And guy steps up to the basket and slips and takes a nasty spill. And just you look at it and you're like, people are like, that's an ACL, the way he twisted. And he's just as soon as he falls, he kind of sits up and he's looking at the disc. And the guy who's kind of emceeing the event, not playing, is just staring at the disc. He don't even care about his friend. He's just watching the disc, and you just see this thing smash the chains. Now I'm blessed enough that I literally had just been like down at the basket taking pictures, and I'd walked up and just stumbled across this event. So I'm talking with this guy, and I just turn and see this thing just smash the chains. And you just lose our mind, man. These guys, we were worried about this guy. He sets up, realized he smashed an ace on like a 400 and something, like 60-foot hole, possibly. Through the trees. When you guys see this hole, it's like, what are you kidding me? And I was again lucky enough to just be there for that, be in the background where you didn't actually see me for a second when they showed it on ESPN. So at least I knew who I was. But man, that ace though, that ace was definitely the best ace that I've ever been around. That was the greatest.
That sounds impressive, man. I got to look that up on YouTube.
Oh yeah, and then everybody, I think the other famous disc golf right now is the Philo Albatross, which is I think the original one that people just mind blown. I think even ESPN thought it was an ace at one point, but it was really a par 5. The guy's sitting out in the fairway on his second shot, and he just beautiful S line. He albatrossed. He beat the eagle. He just took 2 throws. He didn't want 3. He smashed that thing on 2 throws. It's really a beautiful shot to watch.
Wow.
But it's also special because he doesn't even see it go in. It's behind this huge pine tree. He has no idea as really because he's walking up the basket. We're still in this time where there's no huge crowds waiting down at the basket ready to cheer and yell at even pre-COVID. This is a sport that's still basically in its infancy. So that's a pretty cool highlight. You should check that as well.
Definitely.
So, is there anything that you're looking forward to in the future or near future with the sport?
I mean, I'm waiting for this to be bigger than ball golf. I think that has potential, not sooner than later, but definitely in the future. I think that has great potential. But for me, I just hope to see this sport continue to grow. I mean, they're doing great things. They have a disc golf network right now, so a channel solely devoted to the sport. And you get the live coverage on. They're doing a lot of stuff with the national tour too to make sure that's being promoted, and you're getting to see all these beautiful courses. And just in the 4 or 5 years since I've been involved with the sport, doing a media sort of thing, you've seen how well they've kind of created the production value. What's also very nice about the sport too is you can get a lot of quality post-production stuff. So for the people that don't want to watch live, that don't maybe have the time to sit there for a couple hours, you can get it in an hour. You can get around in an hour. Jomez, Gatekeeper, GK Pro, Parsave. These are just a few of the companies out there, but the top ones right now that are putting out this coverage of top events and top players. But I think for me, I mean, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this year is I just accepted a position as a regional representative for the Disc Golf Pro Tour. So,
hey, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So I am a small part doing some regional work when the events come to this area. So I'll be doing some social media and possibly some journalism, writing articles or interviewing players. for the event at Maple Hill, and also heading up to Vermont. I'll be going this year to Smuggler's Notch, which again is an absolutely beautiful place that I have yet to be to. And I'm looking forward to it immensely.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yes,
That's all that hard work, bro. All those songs.
I know, man. It's surreal to me. Because obviously it started out as a hobby, something that I was obviously very in love with. And I think it's just like, though you hear those stories, you don't think one day that that's going to maybe incorporate you and what you're doing, of people being like, oh yes, this is my passion. It really sincerely, I'm in the moment right now of living kind of what I hope to do, and hope opportunities continue to grow from this, where I get opportunities to maybe be on the mic a little more.
All right.
Sounds good. Well,
we're at the
Tom,
end of the show.
We're heading to the end of the show there.
Is there any shout outs you want to do, Mark, before we leave?
Shout outs, man. I mean, I got to shout out my boy 508 Dies, who died me some discs. This actually was won by a gentleman, AJ, in the contest, and I'm waiting to give to him. I mean, just shouting out the community, man. I love disc golf. I love the people of this sport so much. It's definitely, again, one of those sports where you kind of put all those differences aside and you just connect while being in nature. So, I mean, the only plug I really want to promote is just you guys getting out there and really checking it out and spreading that.
Oh, we're going. We're going. It's a live competition. Fika Talk is going down. I got to get to the custom disc. Maybe we can get that before we get to them. So
you got it.
I want that casually kicking it right there when I hit my ace. And
we're going to hook you up. We're going to hook you up. I'm sure I'll get you on. But yeah, shameless plug again. If you guys want to check out my stuff, Chasin The Bees on Facebook, on Instagram. Definitely check out the Disc Golf Pro Tour. And get out there and throw.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Well, thank you, Mark.
Mark, thanks so much for joining us here on Casually Kicking It, man. You guys can catch him on Facebook and Instagram, Chasin The Bees. Is it right? Chasin? No G in that, though.
No.
Yeah, Chasin The Bees. And that name comes from Frisbees. My buddy used to say, let's go chase the bees. So that's where that came from, Chasing the Bees, chasing the Frisbees.
Sweet.
There we go. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me on tonight.
No problem.
No, thanks for giving us your time. I know you're probably busy with all this, disc golf stuff. It sounds like, you've got other things to worry about than being on the show, but we appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Just remember the little guys, okay?
I remember the little guys. I will always remember the little guys. You're not little, but anyways, thank you again.
And by the way, before we let you go, anytime that you're down in Florida, if we don't make it up there before you come down, if you're coming down here for any kind of tournament, let's link up. Absolutely. And but me and Tom plan on taking Casually Kicking up north sometime, and then we could check out that course, man. I'm stoked, man. Let's go.
Yeah. Maybe we could do a live broadcast from them.
Yeah,
let's do it.
All
right, buddy.
All right, Mark. Well, thanks so much. Chasing bees, guys. Chasing the bees.
Take care.